Hey, good morning, friends. It's Terrific Tuesday. Are we ready? I'm ready. Had a great weekend. Worked on some projects, relaxed, did some crocheting, had some rain come through. But in all, it was a fabulous weekend. So I hope everybody is having a great week. This morning, I am going to be working on the squares that I worked on these last week. I did the pink ones. I forgot to bring my pink blanket with me, but some of you guys have seen me make these already. And all that's happening today is I'm working in a different colorway. Hey, Pam, good morning. Debbie, thank you so much for the heart me. Moms and Stitches is here. Good morning, friends. How are we? So I'm working with beautiful blue colors today, and I'm actually working in a couple different colorways. The middle part right here is I love this yarn, which I do love this yarn. You guys know I do. In the colorway Herb Garden. Nice, fun color. Really pretty. It's like a variegated. So that's the color I'm using for this very center. And I wanted something in the middle part here that would kind of stand out. And so I went into my yarn stash. Lordy, I don't know how old this yarn is, but I'll tell you, friends, I think it's pretty old. But it's Premier Everyday. It's 100% acrylic and it's the colorway Spa. So it's just basically like a very soft spa looking color, like a water almost. So I did that for the very center. Now you could do anything for that. And then the outer color I did right here is also, I love this yarn. And this is the colorway Sea Blue. So I just thought they looked really nice together. And then, of course, I finished it off with soft white. So today I'm going to be making a grip of these squares, as many as I can make on the live. I'm putting them into a blanket, which you can kind of see here on my lap. I've got one in progress here. I got to finish. But basically, I put 3 squares here in the middle of the blanket. Then I came back with the granny stitch, the modern granny, and I did 2 rows of the herb garden, followed by 3 of the sea, what is it? Sea blue color. And then I did one of the white. So now what my next step is I'm making 20 more of these squares. Okay. And I'm going to put them side by side around the edge of this blanket. So that's our mission today. That is what we have on deck. Hey, good morning, Shan. Kazi, how are you? Mama Wheeler is in the house. This morning I'm using a size I9 hook. Marcia said, April, can you please slow down? You talk really fast sometimes. I'm sorry, Marcia. I will slow down. Let me know if there's anything you want me to repeat. So I'm working with 3 different colorways this morning. The first, I don't know if you can even get this yarn anymore, but it's Premier Everyday. The very center right here is this little color that I'm doing. And so we'll be doing that next. I'm going to finish this square. This is the colorway Spa, I think it was. Where'd it go? There it is, Spa. So I just had this in my stash. I only had one skein, and I thought, oh, that'll be kind of nice in the middle. Then I love this yarn. This is the colorway Herb Garden, number 430 from Hobby Lobby. That's what it looks like. So this round right here is the Herb Garden, and you can see it changes. So like every square, it's going to look a little kind of different. But then when you put them all together, it looks really nice. Here's some other ones that I have started. So that's the Herb Garden. And then the very outer color of the blue, this right here, this is Sea Blue. I thought it looked nice with the Herb Garden, kind of as like a contrasting, but kind of a complementary color as well. So anyhow, those are the 3 colors that I'm using. The white on the very outer edge is Red Heart Super Saver in the color Soft White. So just kind of something I've always got hanging out. Sorry, I know I missed a bunch of people as I was going over that. So let me rewind here a little bit and say good morning to our friends. Miss Mary is here. Good morning. Valdlocks is in the house. How are you, Randa? Good morning. Mom and Stitches. Thank you so much. She said it looks beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's really fun colors. Gen X is in the house. It's terrific Tuesday. Caroline is here. Karen, good morning. So, friends, I have to finish this square up, and then we're going to start from the beginning with a whole new square. Okay. So, the very outer row is just a granny stitch, very easy. And we're just going to do 3 double crochets into each of the spaces. How does my mic sound this morning, guys? Is it all right? I was trying to get it adjusted. Hey, Kim, good morning. Maggie is here. Good morning, Maggie. Maggie, I had such a fun time on your live this weekend. What a fab! Both days were just incredible. Friends, if you're not following Miss Maggie, she's pinned right here on TikTok. You're missing out. So be sure and give her a follow. Andrew said my mic is fine. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. For all of the subscribers, I created some new stickers. I was feeling a little creative over the weekend. So if you are a subscriber, be sure and check out the new stickers that I made. I made a new frogging sticker for when we have to rip things out. So I did that. I actually made that one this morning. Sandy, good morning. How are you, friend? I made some new stickers for our mods because we love them so much. There's some new squirrel pictures too, because we gotta love a good squirrel picture. So anyhow, I get these little creative bugs and I just go a little crazy. Sorry. I just can't help myself. So yeah, what do you think of the Let's Tap? Isn't he cute? We had the heart before, so I just added some text to him. Mama Wheeler says, Maggie, I watched you too. Very fun. Everybody watches Maggie. Everybody does. Cheryl said it's terrific Tuesday. Cheryl, hope you had a great weekend. Amy said, good morning. Beautiful color combination. Yes, thank you so much. It's really pretty, isn't it? I kind of went over the colors. We'll crochet a little bit and then I'll go over them again after we have some more people join on this morning. I know people are just getting their coffee, getting settled in for your day to begin. But yeah, this is a really easy square to make. So we actually made this square last week, and it was the pink colorway that we did with the with the Karen cakes. So this is the exact same square. I'm just doing a different colorway this morning. So I'm going to finish this little guy off, and then we're going to start one from scratch. Danny Lee is here. Good morning, Danny. Elsie, how are you, friend? Hope you had a great weekend. I talked to my mom a long time on Sunday. I have every Sunday is mom and April chat time. I don't know how we can find so much to talk about, but I'll tell you what, we talked for like 4 hours on Sunday, and I have to tell you, I'm so impressed with Mama Wheeler. I have to do a little bragging on my mom. So you guys know when I first started going live, my mom was having a lot of problems with her crochet hand. And there's our finished square, guys. And so anyhow, she actually went to the chiropractor, and the chiropractor, it was her thumb she was having problems with. And she went to the chiropractor when she was in Arizona, and he pulled on her thumb, and it did a big pop. And I'll be darned, the chiropractor fixed my mom's thumb. So anyhow, she's been doing more crocheting. Well, the other day she was at Michael's with Papa Wheeler, and they had a bunch of stuff on sale. What am I doing? I'm doing this wrong. And so anyhow, she got some of the kits. They weren't Woobles kits, but they were amigurumi kits. And my mom has made some ducks. She made a dinosaur. Now she's working on a unicorn. I'm so proud of my mom. She said I inspired her to maybe try some amigurumi, and she got the kits and stuff. Crystal said, I can crochet basic stitches. Is granny square my next step? They are so pretty. Granny square is one of the things that I first learned, so I do recommend it. Now, this granny square is a little more complicated because it does use some different stitches, but the traditional granny square I think is a great way if you know your double crochet. It's a great way to kind of start, so I do recommend that. You might want to start with like maybe a scarf or maybe a dishcloth or maybe a coaster, something a little smaller, and just kind of do some practicing that way. Hey, Kelly, good morning. How are you? Deborah is here. Maggie said, I'm still under the weather, was up in the night sick. I'm having to report to work. Oh, no. Maggie, I was so excited to do your live yesterday, and then I got busy. I was crocheting squares together, and I was trying to pay attention and count, and I couldn't multitask. And so then when I finally got on Leah's live, I'm like, I expected Maggie to be there, and I'm like, where's Maggie? And not that I don't love Leah, I love you both, and I was excited to see you together. And then I asked Gen X, and she said that you weren't feeling well. So I'm sorry you're feeling sick. That really sucks, especially on your day off. No fun, no fun. So I hope you're starting to feel better soon. Hey, Lori, good morning. Okay, friends, so we're going to start right here in the very middle of this square. Okay, I'm calling this square um, the English rose. I know I'm not using the English rose colors. I did the English rose colors last week, but you can use this square for anything. It is the same pattern as I did last week. So I'm going to start here in the very center and I'm going to do a magic ring. Now, if you do not like the magic ring, that is totally fine. You can do a chain of 3 or a chain of 4 here to start. It's totally acceptable. Whatever you prefer is fine. I'm going to work into this magic ring a total of 16 double crochets. So that is our first step. I like to do these in pieces. So you can see here, see how many little centers I have made? I'll sit here and just make up a bunch of the centers. Then I come back with the next color and add on to that, and then I kind of continue on. So if you like to do it that way, that is what I do kind of behind the scenes. When I do them on the live, I do like to do them from start to finish so you can see the entire project. Is it just me, or did everything go dark and then no sound? Can you guys see me, hear me? Is everything okay? I think it's fine on YouTube. I can see that on my TV. Let me know how it's looking on TikTok. Radina, you might have to exit and come back in if it's giving you some problems. Cindy said it's good. Uh, so you're good for me, Pam said, and Mama C said it's good. So if you're having problems, just exit and come back in, okay? Um, the way that I do my magic ring, there's lots of different ways to do this, friends. I wrap my yarn around and I pull down a loop so that it's crisscrossed. I hold, Paula, thank you for the popular vote. I hold the crisscross in my fingers here between my thumb and my middle finger. I wrap my yarn around twice. I'm going to put a double crochet into this circle and I'm going to work over the loop and also over the tail. So I go down in and I pull up a loop. Now I have 3 loops on my hook. I yarn over and pull through 2 and yarn over and pull through 2. So that's like a standing double crochet. Uh, Queen, good morning or good afternoon, as the case may be. Um, and thank you for the heart me becoming the number 103rd member of the fan club. When you're working on the magic circle, or if you're working on a chain center, you're going to work it the same way. You want to be sure and work over the tail. And so I'm actually going to work over the ring and over the tail as well. This way, when I get towards the end, I will be able to pull on that tail and close my magic ring. I need a total of 16 double crochets into this magic ring. Here's 3. Lori, good morning. 4, 5, 6, 7, 16 is kind of a lot to fit in here, guys. Now I'm going to lose count because I went off and started talking. Just kind of wiggle your stitches around and try to make room as you're working your way around. They can all fit in there, but you might have to do a little wiggle action on them. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Um, Marcia, Maggie goes live on TikTok. Maggie is Magical Unicorn. Hey, Deanna, good morning. How are you? So, if you're not on TikTok, now Maggie does have a YouTube, but I don't believe she goes live on YouTube, only on TikTok. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. One more, 16 double crochets. Now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to our very first stitch. Now, friends, I'm going to be doing some stitch talk today. If I miss your comment, please, please do not take it personal. The mods will do their very best to answer the question or pin the comment for me so I can answer it. But we've had a number of new people join, so let's take a moment here and just kind of recap what it is I'm working on this morning. So what we are working on now, I know the colorway doesn't sound like the pattern name. I made this square and I worked on this last week and I called it the English Rose. And we did work on it with kind of pink and rose colored colors last week. So I just now made the very center. So this right here is what I just made. And I'm working with the colorway Spa from Premier. That's what the center color is. Next, I'm going to tighten my magic ring and I'm going to close this center up a little bit. If you like to leave it a bigger circle, you most certainly could. I like mine to be a little tighter. So the next round we're going to do is this kind of petal looking round. And we're going to actually go in between each of the posts. So we're not going to work in the top of the stitch here. We're actually going to spread apart the post and work in between the stitches, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to do a 2 treble crochet together, okay? So each little petal has 2 of the treble crochets together. And in between, we're going to put a chain of 2. So you can't see it here, it's kind of hiding. But that is our mission for the next round. The colorway for the next round is I Love This Yarn. And this is the colorway Herb Garden. This is a 4-weight medium acrylic. I am using a size I9 hook this morning. This is what the yarn looks like. I get this from Hobby Lobby. It is really, really beautiful. Okay, with all of that, I missed a whole bunch of comments here, so give me 1 second to catch back up with you, friends. Just a Gen X girl, thank you so much for the uh, nice to meet yous. Was it nice to meet yous? What are they? I totally missed. Oh, the what's up. The what's up. They changed these stickers, you know? Dog Mama is here. Little Lotus Flower said that is really pretty. Yeah, it is really pretty. I came up with this a couple weeks ago. I've made a full blanket with this. Um, Mara said, "You seem cool. I'm going to follow you." Thank you so much, Mara. You know, I think I'm a pretty cool chick. However, it's not just about me here. We have an amazing group of friends that follow in the mornings too. And you, I promise, will love them also. Melina said, hilarious. I'm literally working on this motif on lace and I see you working yours in acrylic. Oh, very, very cool. Let's see. Chrissy said, good morning. How are you doing? It's so pretty. Thank you so much. Miss Melody is here. Good morning. Today we're working on this granny square. Okay. I just did the very center. So now I'm going to start on the next row. So I'm going to close up my magic ring just a smidge, get that kind of tightened up. Now, if you're wanting to do the right thing, which I sometimes do and sometimes don't, you would weave in your tail here. And I'm going to weave this in a bunch of times. I'll do one weave in on the live, and then the rest of the time I'm going to rebel it up because I don't like weaving in my ends on the live. Hey, Arlene, good morning. Hey, from Australia, by the way, that would be amazing and anything. Would love it is a long cardigan. I do think it would look really pretty as a cardigan. I think somebody on the Discord mentioned that they were going to use this flower for a cardigan. So I just whipped it up the other day. You know, there's so many different flower squares out there. And this is just one I kind of came up with. The reason why I came up with it is because when you do some of the other squares, this is a very important aspect of this square. You end up with one, two, three, four, five of the cluster stitches because of how many petals you put in the center. I am incorporating this into a blanket. You can kind of see this here on my lap, okay? So I crocheted 3 of these squares together. I seamless joined them. Then what I did is I came back and I added the modern granny stitch around. So what I'm doing and why I'm making these squares is because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these squares all the way around as my next round. Okay, so it's a little hard to see because this is bigger, but I need a total of 23 of these squares, 3 in the middle, and then 20 all the way around. Once I get these all joined, then what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll add more of the modern granny stitch and finish out the blanket. Now, this will be a wheelchair sized blanket. So that is why I'm making these squares. Okay. So let's get our next color going here. Actually, let me not use that skein. Let me use this skein I've got going here beside me. It would make more sense to do this little skein and use it up. Hey, Leah, good morning. Thanks for stopping in. Um, Joan, good morning. Don't worry about being late, guys. It's totally fine. You know I'm here for a couple hours, so we're just getting started. And this is the same square I made last week. Okay, so I'm going to start with a slip knot on my hook. And I'm going to make a standing treble crochet. And instead of working in the top of the stitches here, normally you would work under these stitches, right? I'm actually going to pull the post apart and I'm going to work right here in between the post, okay? The way I make my standing treble, I put a slip knot on my hook and I hold the tail between my thumb and my pointer finger. You have to secure this tail somehow as you're looping over, otherwise it will spin off. I wrap my yarn around twice, so now I have 3 loops on my hook. Now I'm going to go into the space in between the post, put my hand forward, and I transfer the job of holding that tail to Mr. Thumb here so that I can crochet. I draw up a loop, so now we have a total of 4 loops. Now I'm going to do 2 together treble crochets. So I yarn over and go through 2, yarn over and go through 2. Now I'm just going to hold here. I'm not going to finish this stitch. I need to start another treble crochet. So I wrap my yarn around twice, again go right back down into that space, grab up a loop. Now we're back to, we have the original one over here, but we have 4. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Once I get down to 3 loops, then I yarn over and pull through all 3. So what this does is it kind of squishes these together at the top and it makes it a little nicer for, wow, level 22. Jennifer, thank you so much for the level up sparks. Beautiful. Okay, now we're going to chain 2. And now I'm going to move to the next space, again in between, and we're going to do another treble crochet. Again, this is a 2 together, so I'm going to do it twice. Once I get to 2 loops, I'm going to start another one. Wrap my yarn around twice, right down into that space, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through 2. Once we're down to 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 of these, squish these together. Hey Miffy, good morning. How are you, friend? Welcome, welcome, welcome in, everybody. If you are new to my channel, my name is April and I'm a hobby crocheter. This morning we're working on a granny square, okay? We're just getting started. We're going to work through several of these on the live. I'll be until 9:30 Central Time. And so anyhow, this is the square that we're making. We're on the very second round here. Dog Mama, thank you so much for the heart me and becoming the 104th member of the Wheeler Fan Club. Okay, and now we're going to move to the next space here. Wrap my yarn around twice. We're going to do a 2 together treble crochet. Sounds complicated. I'm going to walk you through this. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now when we get to our last 2 loops, normally you would yarn over and finish this. We're not going to do that. We're just going to hold this. Then we're going to wrap our yarn around twice. Carla, thank you so much for the heart me. Go right back down into that space. Grab up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Once we get to 3 loops here on top, we're going to yarn over. I'm going to pull this through all 3, squish those together, and chain 2. I'm going to be working right over this tail as I work my way along, kind of tucking that in, helping to weave it in. Again, right in between the 2 posts. I'm not working up here on top. I'm actually going to split those posts apart and work in between the posts. Start a treble crochet. Wrap my yarn around twice. Right down in between those posts, grab up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. And now I'm going to hold. We're going to start our second treble crochet. Wrap our yarn around twice. Right back down into that same stitch. Grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Once we're down to 3, again, yarn over, pull through all 3, squish those together, chain 2. What this does is it just makes it so it's not quite so bulky here at the top and kind of squishes these together so they kind of look like more of like a long looking petal. So again, move to the next space. We're going to have a total of 16 of these clusters. Take a moment. Good morning. How are you, friend? Welcome in. Welcome in. Um, we are working this morning on a little flower granny square. So we're on round 2, and I'm just talking through some of these stitches. Now, if you want to watch a replay, we did work on these last week on the live, and you can watch that on my YouTube channel. My handle on YouTube is the same, Wheeler 8 Acres. If you are on my YouTube, be sure and look in the category that's live, because when we go live, I just republish back out these videos. So, for example, this morning I am live both on TikTok and on YouTube. And this way, if anybody wants to rewatch how to make this square, you can go back over to my YouTube and watch that. I do work full time, so it's challenging for me to make a lot of video tutorials. They take so much time. I do the very, very best that I can, but this way, if somebody does need to rewatch, we do have that ability. So be sure and seek out. There is a link on the link tree as well, to the YouTube video that I'm working on this morning, along with the different yarn that I'm using. I'm using a total of 4 different colorways. The very center is the Colorway Spa. This is actually Premier Color. On the link tree, I linked to a very similar color in the I Love This Yarn. Maha, thank you so much for the WhatsApp, and good morning, friend. Um, Also, the colorway I'm working with right now is called Herb Garden, and it also is I Love This Yarn. So it's a really pretty, this is the colorway I've got on the hook right now. I love this yarn in the colorway Herb Garden. So really, really pretty yarn. I'm just really digging it. I like it a lot. Reset the gift goal. Thank you so much for knocking out that gift goal, guys. I appreciate that. If you're just hopping on, I hope you had a fabulous weekend. I certainly did. I worked a lot on my various projects that I've got going. And I'm working on this blanket. So today we're making more squares. So hopefully I can get this finished up here by next week, and I'll have this one kind of done. I did finish the watermelon blanket. I've been working on the spring squares, trying to get that one finished up. I finished Well, the black light one, I have to put the border on. We're going to do the border, I believe, on Thursday. Tomorrow, I'm going to be back working on my hexagon cardigan, the study of snow cardigan. So that's what we've got coming for tomorrow. So, full week for me ahead, but I hope everybody is having a wonderful week so far. So, what I'm doing right now, I am working the watermelon. Miss Melody, it's not next to me. I said I'm going to make a video for the subs too of my nest because if you guys could see the pile next to me, it's absolutely crazy. And I can't reach the blanket, but I'll try to bring the watermelon blanket tomorrow. Okay, how does that sound? I want to make a video of it and post it. I just haven't had an opportunity yet. So it's on the to do list. Let's say that. But I'll try to bring the watermelon blanket tomorrow. I'm going to be working on the hexagon cardigan. Hey, Debbie, good morning. Debbie's got her cup of coffee over there. Is that what that says? I think. Yeah, coffee in my hand. I think it's a coffee cup. It's so small on my TV, Debbie. It's sorry, it's hard for me to see over there across the room. But I hope you're having a fabulous day. JT is in the house. Dana, how are you? Good morning, friend. Dana K. Um, this morning, friend, if you're just coming on, I'm working on the little flower square. This is what it looks like. Okay. And I'm on round two. We're going to do another one of these once I'm done if you missed the first part. But I really like this. It feels very oceany, kind of beachish, which I love to do these kind of in the summertime. It's kind of my jam. I can't help but not get excited about maybe going to the beach or something, although we have no plans to go to the beach. But you know what I mean. It's in my brain. So as we work these little flower petals, I'm working over the tail from our little spa color, and I'm working in between the post. So instead of working on the top, normally you would take your hook and go under these stitches and work, but instead we're splitting this apart, and I'm working two together treble crochets right in between. So what I do is I wrap my yarn around twice. I go down into the space in between, grab up a loop. So now we have a total of 4 loops on our hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I just hold. I'm not going to finish this stitch. This is where the two together magic starts happening. I'm going to start another treble crochet. So again, wrap my yarn around twice. Again, right back down into that space, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Once I get to 3 loops here on my hook, I yarn over and I pull through all 3, squish those together. Chain 2, and now I'm going to again repeat that into the next space. You should have a total of 16 of these once you finish this round. Okay, so again, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, holding, do not finish. We're going to start our next treble. Wrap our yarn around twice, right back down into that space, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, here we are back down to 3. At 3, you're going to yarn over, squish those together, chain 2, again, move to the next space, and repeat your 2 together trebles. Wrap my yarn around twice, right down in, grab up a loop. Now we have 4. Kind of twist a little bit when I do that. Wrap my yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Again, do not finish. We're going to hold this stitch. And again, wrap our yarn around twice, right back down in, grab up that loop. This is number 2. Again, once we get to 3 loops up on top, that's when we yarn over and pull through all 3. Squish those together, chain 2. Got a couple more stitches left here for these little petals. Hey, Rachel, good morning. How are you? Carla, I didn't see your comment. I think you said something about the colors this morning. Let's see here. Let me rewind a smidge. So pretty. Oh, thank you, thank you. Yes, this yarn I'm using this morning is I Love This Yarn by Hobby Lobby. The color on my hook right now is the Colorway Herb Garden. Really, really pretty. It is a variegated yarn. Right now it's kind of more purples, but it also has like the greens in it. So each square kind of ends up looking a little bit different for this round, but they all really play nicely together. It just looks really pretty. So this is our last grouping of our treble for this round. So once I'm done with the last one, chain two, and now I'm going to join with a slip stitch to my very first stitch. And we're going to snip off this color. We're going to be changing colors. Let me make sure I have 16 of these. Sometimes I lose my count a little bit on the live before I snip off. I just want to make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yes, we are good. Right on the money, honey. Okay, let's snip off. I'm also going to snip off this tail that I worked over. It was knotted, and so I just kind of worked over it. It should be nice and secure. Okay, so we've now finished round two. So now we're going to look at moving into round three. Round three is where we start to turn it from a round circle into a square shape. Mac and cheese, this is called the um, what did I call this, guys? Help me. English rose. We worked on this last week. And I'm just doing a different colorway, but this is a little flower square I came up with a couple weeks ago, and I'm making a blanket with it. You'll be able to rewatch this video over on my YouTube. My handle is Wheeler 8 Acres. So once we finish the round, now what we have to do is turn this into a circle, or excuse me, from a circle into a square. I'm saying all the wrong words today. So we're going to work into the corner, and we're going to make a tall stitch here. We're going to do 2 treble crochets, chain 2 treble crochets. And I'm going to work that into the first space here. Then I'm going to move to the next space, and we're going to get a little smaller. So instead of trebles, we're going to go down to double crochets. And I'm going to do 3 double crochets into that space. Then in the very center, so this is the side here, in the very center, I'm going to work 2 half doubles. So again, getting smaller. Then we're going to work our way back out to this corner. We're going to go back up a size and do our 3 doubles. And then back to the corner, we're going to do our 2 trebles with a chain 2 in between. So, one of the things you may wonder in your brain as you're sitting here looking at this is, well, April, why didn't you do 3 in the corners and 3 in the middle because you did 3 here? And I did try that at the very beginning. And what happened is it was too many stitches. And so, what happened is this started bowing up because it had too many. It was too full. So I had to reduce some of the stitches. So that is why we have less in the corners and less here in the top. By reducing down and not doing 3 and 3 and 3 here, it made it so that the square now lays flat. So that's one of the ways to kind of work around that. So the next color that I'm working with is, again, I love this yarn. Really, really pretty. This is a 4-weight medium acrylic. I am using a size I9 hook this morning. This is the colorway Sea Blue. This I get from Hobby Lobby, but it's really pretty. And I thought it was just kind of a nice complementary color to the various colors that were in the variegated. So without further ado, let's get this party started. 29,000 taps. You guys are almost to 30,000. That is incredible. Thank you guys so much, everyone who's tapping their screen this morning. Also, 19 shares this morning. Friends, thank you so much for sharing out the live. I really, really appreciate your support. So in the corner, I'm going to start in the first space here. The middle color, Sandy, is a colorway called Spa. This is a really old yarn that I had in my stash. Um, there is a very similar color to this at Hobby Lobby, and I put a link on the link tree. I could not tell you how old this yarn is, but I had it on hand. I didn't need very much. I only had this one skein. This is from Premier. They may still have this color. I don't know, but it's the colorway Spa. So you need kind of a kind of a softer, lighter, like watercolor almost. Okay, so into the first space here. I'm going to start with a standing treble. Okay. If you do not like to do a standing stitch, what you can do is do a chain of 4 as your first stitch. You could also do a stacked single like twice. I can demonstrate how to do that. So I'll show 3 different ways here how you could join on. First, I'm going to start with a standing uh, double crochet, or excuse me, treble crochet. So I have to secure my tail. I hold it here between my thumb and my pointer finger. I wrap my yarn around twice. If you do not secure this tail, what'll happen is your yarn will spin off and you'll be back down to 1 loop on your hook. So that is why it is very important. If you're doing a standing stitch, make sure you secure that somehow. Sometimes people hold it over here. It's entirely up to you how you want to do that. I'm just showing you how I kind of figured out how to do this for myself. Okay, so now we have 3 loops on our hook. I put my hook through my work, twist my hand forward. Now I transfer the job of holding this tail to Mr. Thumb over here. If it lets go, again, these loops will spin off. I grab up a loop, so now we have 4, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that is a standing treble crochet. Let's see, Premier still has the color spa on their website. Very cool. Okay, let's do this another way, friends. Let's do, you could just, instead of starting with a slip knot, you could just tie this on. I'm not going to do that because I already have this made up here. But you could start with a chain of 4. Okay, and you could do that for your very first stitch. That is totally fine as well, however you like to do that. The other thing you could do is kind of more the concept of the stacked singles, if you like doing that better. So basically, in order to do that, I would go into the space, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Then you see how I have 2 stitches here? I put my hook through the first one, draw up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, we're back to 2 stitches. Repeat that same thing. Go into the first one here, draw up a loop, and yarn over, pull through 2. So you could do that as your standing treble as one. Rachel, have a great day. Kathy, or Catherine, excuse me, asked how much yarn for this blanket. I'm, I have like 3 skeins of this, and I think I have 2 skeins of this one, and then just 1 of this one. And I'm making a wheelchair size. When I make these wheelchair blankets, I typically need like around 1,200 yards. 1,200 is kind of what I shoot for a 35 by 45. Again, it depends on how tight you crochet, how loose you crochet, how big you make your blanket. But for me, typically, if I have a combination of about 1,200, I find that that will be sufficient for a wheelchair size. Okay, so I'm going to start with my standing treble here. Right down into that space, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Now I need another treble. Catherine, I'm using soft white from Red Heart Super Saver. They have 2 different shades of white. They have white and soft white. The soft white has I don't want to say it has more of a yellowish tone to it, but it's not so stark bleached white. Okay, it's a little bit of a softer white. I find that works a little better when I use colors like this. Now, if I'm using like a pink color, then I use the white color rather than the soft white. I usually have both on hand. So they're very similar. And I have to mark mine, otherwise I tend to get them mixed up. So chain two. Now we're going to do two more treble crochets here. Okay, so two treble crochets in your corner, chain two, two treble crochets. Now I'm going to work into the next space here, and we need three double crochets. So this is tall. Now I want to get smaller. So into this next space, we're going to do three double crochets. Okay. And moving to the next space, this is going to be the very tippy top of our side. And we're going to do two half doubles. So again, carrying on with that, we're going to get smaller here in the middle. We're turning this from a circle into a square. So see how it's bigger, smaller, smallest. Now we're going to work our way back out to this other corner. So now we're going to work the opposite concept. We're going to get bigger. So into the next here, we need three double crochets. Okay. And then into the very corner here, we need back to our two trebles, chain two, two trebles. Hey, Amanda, good morning. How are you? Thank you guys all so much for all of the taps this morning. I can't get over every day, you guys never cease to amaze me. 40,000 taps. Absolutely incredible. Thank you guys so much. That seemed like that was 40,000 like really fast too. Everybody's tap, tap, tapping. I love it. I have to, do we have time for a quick little story time? Um, I'm working on this square, so I don't want to get too big of a story, but I have to tell you, this weekend I was watching Lori at the Knitting Sisters. Does anybody know Lori at the Knitting Sister? Lori has the knitting machines, and I'm fascinated to watch her. I have a knitting machine. I have a Centro that I hardly ever use. She likes her Addie machine a lot better. But Lori was having, I think it was Saturday, I was watching her. Maybe it was Sunday, but she was having a tapping marathon. And man, I was amazed. There was a lot of people watching her. Now, Lori has like 50,000 people that follow her, and I'm a much smaller channel, but growing. Every day we get new friends popping by, and I love that. Um, but anyhow, she was on for a lot of hours, and she was doing giveaways whenever she got to 500,000. So at 500,000 likes, she did a little giveaway, and you had to type something on the screen, and then she picked a winner. Okay. And so, anyhow, I was there. I was with all of the crew. We were tapping away and got her to 500,000. Then, when we got to another one, when she got to a million, she was doing another giveaway, and of course I was there tapping my little heart out. She was working on a blanket for her son. So for a creator, number one, to get to a million likes on a live, I just think it's incredible. I think it just shows the level of support of her like team, and I feel that way about you guys all the time. We've never gotten to a million. I'm not saying that, but she was on for a lot longer. Anyhow, I have a point to this story. So we get to a million, and Lori is doing her little giveaway. And so I'm typing, you have to type, you put hashtag FYP. That's what she has you type. So hashtag FYP, and you type that over and over again in the chat. And then she scrolls and she chooses, it like lands on somebody that has typed the FYP on the chat. You know what happened? Do you know what happened to me? I was the winner. I was the winner of the million tap giveaway on Lori's live this weekend. I have never won anything in my entire life. I don't think I have ever won anything. I am so excited. Number one, I love Lori. Okay. I watch her all the time. And then I was picked. I was like fangirling all over the place. I was so excited. And so I told mom, I'm like, Mom, I won. And she's like, Well, what did you win? And I said, I don't know if it's a surprise. Lori's going to send me something. She makes beanies, she makes scarves. So you guys, I don't know what Lori is sending me, but she's an Alabama sister. And anyhow, I'm just so excited. I know that's kind of silly, and I feel kind of like crazy for getting so excited. But you know, when you never won anything in your whole life, kind of like Hannah. Where's Hannah at this morning? And Hannah's always like wanting to win. I wasn't expecting it. I was just like, wow, that is so exciting. That was so fun. So not only did I get to watch my girl Lori for hours while I was crocheting, dude, I won. I'm so excited. So anyhow, I think it's really cool. I think it's really cool. Cassie said I won something too recently for her last drawing. So excited. Yeah, I think a lot of people have the knitting machines, and I got one because I thought, "Oh, I'll get one, and then that way with my scrap yarn, my leftover yarn, I can make like beanies and stuff for donations." So that's why I got one of the machines. But you guys, I always end up crocheting and I don't put any time on that machine. But I love watching people do their machine, and Lori's one of the best. She makes amigurumis with it. Really, yeah, I'm over here fangirling, and I won a prize. So I don't know when it's gonna come. She said she was gonna send it. I'll be sure and share with you guys. But yeah, Lori at the Knitting Sisters, I love her, and her mom is in the background. So you guys know how like Mama Wheeler is here supporting me. She's my mom. Lori's mom is there. And everybody calls her Mama Knit. 50,000, y'all. 50,000 likes. Wow. Tap 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 tap. Okay, so let me talk through this last side because I got onto my story time. Sorry, little squirrel ran by there. Let me get back focused for those that want to know how to do the stitches. So what we're doing is we're turning this circle flower into a square shape. And so what we're doing is we're working the corners. You can see here I did 2 treble crochets, chain 2, 2 treble crochets. So the corners are the tallest stitch. Then in the next space here, I did 3 double crochets. Then in the very center, so this is the center of our side, I'm doing 2 half doubles. So big, smaller, smallest. Now, as I work my way back out to the corner, we go in reverse. So here's the smallest. Now I'm going to get bigger. And now I'm going to get even bigger. So this was 3 double crochets. And into the corner, we're going to do 2 trebles. So this is our tallest. Wrap my yarn around twice, right back down in, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So there's our 2 trebles. Now this is the corner space, so we need to chain 2, and now into that exact same space, we need 2 more trebles. Okay, so the corners are the tallest stitches on the square as we work the square shape. Now we're going to work the last side here. So into the next space, we're going to get smaller and we're going to do 3 double crochets. Brandy, welcome in. Brandy said, I love this. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Tabby said, why is it the tallest? And the reason why, Tabby, is because we had a circle shape. So when we started, okay, it looked like this. And what we're trying to do is take this circle shape and turn it into a square. So the way that you do this is you make the corners tall, then you get smaller on the sides, and then back tall in the corners. So can you see how it's transitioning from a circle to a square? We're going to do one more round along with the white, and that'll firm up this square shape. Okay, so all we're doing is taking it from the circle to the square. So here's our tallest treble crochet, chain 2, treble crochet, 2 of them. Into the next space, we do 3 doubles. Now into the very center space here, we're going to do 2 half doubles. So again, the half double is shorter than the double crochet. So that's the very center part of our side. Now, as we work back out to the corner, this was the corner right here. We're going to do 3 double crochets. We're going to get back bigger now as we head back into the corner. Wolfgang, the name of this square is the um what did I call this? Why do I have such a hard time with this name? I should call it something else I could remember. Um Moz will help me. What did I call this? Something rose. Um Oh goodness, I'm drawing a blank. No, well, this is the Glacier blanket. I'm using that, but I'm using English Rose. Thank you. It's called the English Rose Square. I just whipped this up a couple weeks ago. We made a blanket with it last week on the live, and I did it with pink colors. And now I'm using that same English Rose Square to make a Glacier blanket. So I'm using more like watercolor bluish colors. Okay. So after I do my 3 double crochets, I slip stitch to the corner and I'm going to snip off. We're going to change our colors now. Okay. Where'd my scissors go? Uh-oh. Oh, here they are. Okay. This is what happens when I don't put my tools away. I get distracted and then I'm misplacing everything. Friends, we've had a lot of new followers stop by. I'm thinking we're probably hitting the FYP this morning. If anybody joined from the FYP, feel free to hop on and say hello. If you are new to my channel, my name is April, and I am a hobby crocheter. I come live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Time. And I work on a variety of different projects. Tomorrow I'm going to be working on a hexagon cardigan. Thursday, I'm going to be doing the crab stitch on a blanket that is finished. I just have to put a little edge on it. So that's what we've got on deck for Thursday. Now, today, what we're making is we're making these squares, and we just have finished. Uh-oh, I got to pause for a puzzle piece here, guys. Just one second. And it worked. Okay. Chelsea, good morning. Thanks for being here this morning. So this is the English Rose Square. As I mentioned, we did this last week on the live, and I did it with a different colorway. I did it in pinks. And I liked the square so much that I thought, well, wouldn't this be pretty if I changed it up to do more like water uh, like kind of, I want to call it like glacier. To me, this is like, in the summer when the glaciers melt and the water is that like powdery white blue. That's kind of what this reminds me of. So, anyhow, I really, really like the colorways. Courtney said, I'm from the FYP working on the viral mushroom guy. Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. Marie said, the colors make me think of hydrangeas. Marie, great minds. I almost called this the hydrangea blanket. I almost called it that. I really would love to do this square again. And instead of using this color of blue, actually replace it with like a lavender. But I totally think of hydrangeas too when I see this. So very, very pretty colors. So what I'm doing, if you can kind of see it here in my lap, let's move some stuff to the side a little bit. My lap is kind of full, but I sewed 3 of these squares together for the middle of my blanket. Okay. Then after I got those sewed on there, I came back and I did the modern granny stitch and I went around the square. So I did a round of white. This is actually soft white. This is Red Heart Super Saver. Then I did the variegated. The variegated yarn that I'm using today is, I love this yarn, and this is the colorway Herb Garden. Okay, it's really pretty. See how pretty variegated it is? Right now it's looking very purple, but there is really pretty greens and stuff in it. Yes, Brandy, it definitely looks like frozen. Then this blue color that we're using is also, I love this yarn. Okay, I get this again from Hobby Lobby, and this is the colorway Sea Blue. So really, really pretty. So now what I'm going to do, here's what I've figured out about myself, guys. And let me know if you kind of like this as well. I like making granny squares. In my mind, I think, oh, I want to make a granny square. They're so pretty. I like doing them. And then after I've made like 10 granny squares, I'm like, okay, I'm done with granny squares. I'm not interested in granny squares anymore. So then I have these granny squares. If I don't want to make like a tote bag with them, I end up with these granny squares that it's like, well, I never made enough to finish a blanket. And I get frustrated with myself because I basically don't finish, right? Is anybody else in this situation? So the other day I was sitting here and I'm like, okay, did the crochet police, are they the ones that said I had to do the entire blanket with granny squares? Who made these rules up? Who made these rules up for me? Who says I have to do the entire blanket with granny squares? Because whoever that was, I'm not a friend. I'm not your friend. I'm not your fan. I'm sorry. I don't want to make a whole blanket with granny squares. I get bored with it, you guys. I like so I am trying to figure out ways to essentially do like a mashup and incorporate the granny stitch with the granny squares so that I don't have to make as many granny squares and the blanket gets done and all around it's like a win. Hey, Miss Karen, thank you so much for the heart me. So that is kind of what's been rolling around in my brain. You guys already know I'm a rebel and a bit of a rule breaker. So I don't, I'm to the point I don't want to do 70 squares and have to sew them all together. I'm just not interested in that. I want to make a few squares and then be done with the squares and move on. So when I make these wheelchair size blankets, I have figured out the magic number for me is 23 squares. 23 squares, not 80, not 70, not 60, 23. I can do 23 squares. I can sew together 23 squares, right? That doesn't seem so daunting. Then I come back with the modern granny stitch, whip the rest of the blanket out. Woohoo! It's a win. It's a win all the way around. So, the last colorway that I'm doing this morning on these squares, guys, is the colorway soft white. And this is Red Heart Super Saver. I always have it next to me. I have it on my yarn cart that Mr. Wheeler made for me. I have soft white, I have black, I have gray. They're always on the cart. The cart that Mr. Wheeler made for me, one of these days I need to post a video of it. But you guys know I have a lot of projects always in the works. It holds 10 yarns, 10 different skeins. And so, anyhow, that is one of the colors I always have. The final round of this square is very easy. I'm just doing the granny stitch. Okay. I'm doing 3 double crochets into each of the spaces. 3 double crochets in each. So I do 3. This is number 3. Okay. I don't do any chaining or anything. I move to the next space, again, working right into this hole right here. I do 3 double crochet. So just like you would do a regular old granny square, that is how I'm finishing this. Now into the corner, again, I don't chain, move to the corner, 3 double crochets. Paula, it's not an even number because in the center of my blanket, I put 3. I'm making a rectangle blanket. So 3 of them go into the very center, and then the other 20 go around the outside after I have added the modern granny stitch. If you are not making a rectangle, then you would probably do an even number, I would assume. But maybe not because maybe you only have 1 in the center, but maybe you want to do 4 in the center. You know, it just got my wheels turning like I don't want to keep making 80 granny squares and trying to do a blanket. I want to do a smaller amount of granny squares, figure out what stitches go with that, kind of have the best of both worlds and do a little mashup. So that is why I'm really been on this mission lately. And I'll probably make a few more of these because you guys know I kind of make a few and then I get bored and then I'll move on to something else. Friends, if you are new to my channel, thank you so much, everybody who's joining and being here this morning. I have seen a number of new followers. We're talking a lot of stitch talk today, friends, as we're working on these granny squares. If you are new to my channel, my name is April and I am a hobby crocheter. somebody asked where I lived. I moved about 4 years ago from Arizona, and I now live in Northeast Alabama. So my handle, Wheeler 8 Acres, comes from our place here in Alabama. We purchased 8 acres. We have a pond. We have lots of wildlife that come in, birds, critters, deer. I do live stream my deer camera on my YouTube channel. And my handle over there is also Wheeler 8 Acres. Wheeler is not our name, it is our nickname. My husband is a truck driver, and he does heavy haul, big equipment. And he likes his off roading and trucks and quads and you name it. He likes it all. His nickname is Wheeler. His nickname is Wheeler. And so there you have it, Wheeler 8 Acres. By default, I am Mrs. Wheeler. You also see Mama Wheeler here in the chat. Mama Wheeler is my mom. Again, not her name, nicknames, but yes, we are the Wheelers. Chelsea said, I'm 30 miles north of the Alabama border in southern Tennessee. So I am in Rainsville, Alabama. If anybody is familiar with Alabama, we are right outside Fort Payne. We're about 50 minutes south of Chattanooga, if you were to come down. So we're south of Nashville, but it doesn't take us long to get over to Tennessee. And we do go up there sometimes if we want to do shopping or whatever. Also very close to Georgia. I can be in Georgia in about 50 minutes as well. So up in that tippy top corner of Alabama is where we're at, and where I'm coming to you from this morning. So anyhow, last stitch here of this square, and I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the very first stitch, and I'm going to snip off. Now, here's the thing, friends. In trying to be more disciplined, there are things that I do not do well. I do not weave in tails. Shan, have a great day. Thanks for hanging out. Papa Wheeler is here listening too. All right, Papa Wheeler. Okay, so normally I snip off and I give myself about this much. Here is where I'm going to be disciplined today. You guys are going to love this. I promise you. Okay, so I know I'm going to need to join these squares. So instead of snipping off my tail, can you guys see this? Instead of snipping it off up here close, I'm going to do about double of my yarn. Okay. Then I'm going to snip off. Oh, Misty, I love coming up to Knoxville. We like it up there. My husband's, we got some off-roading tires and stuff. And of course, we like coming up to what's Dollywood? What is that place? Gatlinburg. We like going up to Gatlinburg. I like to do the little Old Smoky tour of the little, you know, Old Smoky there. Okay, so I'm leaving myself a very long tail. Here's the thing. I'm going to join these squares together. Who wants to see an invisible join? We're going to join these right up. We're going to purpose this tail and make it useful. So I'm going to get my darning needle. Cleveland, Tennessee. Nice, nice. Lots of Tennessee folks. All right, here we go. Darning needle, rounded tip, onto my yarn. I just put a video of me doing this, guys, on my TikTok. I put my wrong sides together. Here we go. We're going to join. I go through the corner and through the other corner. And I do that so that I get 2 of these loops. I pull this tight. I stick my yarn underneath those 2 loops and I bring it through. Again, I want that tight, okay? Here we go. We're going to do an invisible join. As you look at a crochet stitch, some of you are familiar with this. This is probably new. Brandy said Kentucky here. All right. My grandma's family is from Kentucky. Um, so that is pretty cool. The stitch that is facing me, this one here, is called the front loop. The stitch that is away from me is the back loop. The way we're going to do this join, we're going to ignore the front loops, okay? So we're going to not go into either of these. Same thing when we look at the other side. This is the front of the square. So this is the front loop. We're not going to touch that. We're just going to be working on the inside loops. So I go into the first stitch. I go back out the second stitch. Do you see the little cross? The crisscross? Pull up your yarn. I go to the other side. I go through the stitch, up the other side. Again, can you see that little crisscross there? Pull up my yarn. Now I go back to the other side. This is the one I just came out of. See it there? We're going to go back through that stitch and back up the other one. Pull it through. Go the other side. See, this one is just how I came out. Back through that same stitch and up the next. So we're going to weave back and forth, in and out, like we're lacing up our tennis shoes. You don't have to tighten this up right away. Give yourself plenty of room to work. Okay, up and through. Anvil, have a great day. Thanks for hanging out today. How about a round of applause for our moderators? Anvil, Gen X, Pam, and Leapin' Llamas, our friend Leah. Fabulous moderators. Thank you so much for all that you do for me and all of our friends here. Okay. Again, here's that stitch. This is the one I came out of. You see that yarn there? Go down through and pop it back out the next. Okay, so see how our stitches are looking here? Can you see the little zigzags like we laced our tennis shoes? Okay, here's the magic. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Pull your tail, just like a zipper. Zip it up. I kind of give it another little tug here and seam that together. Okay, now we're going to resume. Again, back down in and back out. Back down in the other side and pop it back out. Whenever I do this in my head, you guys know the Drop It Like It's Hot song? You know that song? Well, I'm singing Pop It, you know. I just substitute in my brain. That's what's going through my brain. Sorry, I'm such a dork. I know. But anyhow, because I'm thinking like popping it back up through. I don't know. That's just what's going on in my brain. Mrs. Sully from Nova Scotia. Welcome, welcome. Our friend Mikey is from Nova Scotia. Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. I love Mikey at the Crochet Crowd. I think he's from Nova Scotia. Isn't that right? Do you know? Uh, our friend Mikey Selick. Let's see. So again, in and out, go down through, pop it back out. Down through, pop it like it's hot, back up. I swear you're not going to be able to do this join now without singing that song. Paula said, I didn't know that, and I'm Canadian. Yeah, Mikey is Mikey from the Crochet Crowd. Okay, see our little zipper here? I turn it because I have to pull on it with my right hand. If you're more talented than I am, you don't have to turn it. But here we go. Let's zipper her up. Zip, 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 zip. Da 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 da. I get so excited when I do this join. Am I the biggest dork in the planet or what? I can't help it. It's just so mesmerizing, right? Down in, back out, down in, back out. Sorry, I keep bumping my microphone. Hopefully it's not making too much static. I'm trying to do small stitches, but you know how it goes. I don't have a lot of wiggle room here. It's so fun to do. Isn't it fun to do? I just posted a video, guys, on my TikTok yesterday of how to do this. Okay, so if you want, go to my page, like it, put it on your favorites. You're going to want to at some point do this stitch if you don't already know how to do it. I call it an invisible join. I don't know if there's a technical name for it. I guess you could call. Is this the mattress stitch? To me, it should be the zipper stitch because that's what it feels like. I swear I'm going to call it that. April's doing the zipper stitch. Okay, so now here's the thing. Do you see how my stitches are a little off on here? See how they're not lining up exactly? I'm to the corner here. I just fudge it a little bit. Okay, so what I do, I zip it up, zip, zip. Instead of going into the next one, I just go into the same one again when I go on this side. Then I do the next. Okay, so if you see that it's not lining up exact, just kind of fudge it a little bit. It'll be fine. I probably didn't line it up very good at the very beginning. Sometimes I get a little messed up when I'm doing the live because I'm not really, really focusing. 100,000 likes. Wow, y'all. I think the mattress stitch, you only go into the next instead of the same. I think so too. I like this stitch better. So, anyhow, is this your first time seeing this join, friends? So now I'm to the very end, okay? This is the corner, this is the corner. So again, I go through both. Now you could continue zipping all the way through. I just go like this at the end and I wrap my yarn around a couple times. Okay, again, you need to pull this tight. Make sure you get all your zippers zipped up. Look, this one right here, I didn't zip it very well. I don't know if I can go back and tighten that. I'll try to fix it when I'm off the live. If you don't zip it, if you're not paying attention, you don't zip it all the way. See what happens? See how that one's kind of busting out of its seam? That's probably, or I missed a stitch there. I don't know. It's not the end of the world. I'm going with it. Okay, so then after I get a couple loops here, I go under those loops with my yarn. Okay, and I pull this out the side. Okay, so now my join is done. Also, as you're working this, make sure you're giving it a pull. You want this to have stretch to it. Okay, now don't snip this off yet. Here's what I do with it. I turn my square to the back. I'm going to hide this. I put it through and I go down through the middle here, working under these stitches, again, because it's the same color yarn. If it wasn't the same color, although sometimes I do it even if it's not the same color. So then I pull this, and now I'm going to weave in this tail into the corner of this square down here before I snip off. Okay, so that is one way to join your squares as you go and be disciplined and be, in other words, April, be a good girl and do what you're supposed to do. Paula asked, what do the four corners look like when you join them? So I have a blanket I was working on, which is what I made the video from. Now I'm going to snip it off. I go back, weave it back through about 3 times, then I snip off. Okay. So now our square is joined. Now you'll notice, see how this is kind of wonky here? When I'm joining this is all going to get like fixed up. You can kind of pull on it and get it aligned. It's totally fine. I'm probably going to bump the camera, guys. I'm going to try to reach a blanket here. Let me see if I can reach this. I don't know if I can. Let me get my reaching stick here and see. It's way far away from me. Let me move my tablet out of the way and see if I can reach it. I should have pulled this because I knew you guys were going to ask me. It's on my yarn cart and I might not be able to reach it. Come on. Okay, I'm not going to be able to reach it. Sorry, guys. You'll have to do it if you want to see how the four are joined together because I can't reach my blanket to show you all. I'm sorry. I'm slacking. What can I say? I'm slacking. So anyhow, that is our join. Okay. So if you have more, you could continue on and keep joining. But yes, Paula, there's also a video and just give it a try. Give it a try. It's, an easy way to join. You don't necessarily even have to join, squares. Um, Now when I joined these, I used, more of the mattress stitch and not, it's not so invisible. And so I wanted to change it because I don't really care for how that looks. It's not bad. It kind of gives it a different look though than this one. I like this one better, this join better. But either way works. Okay, so friends, who is ready to make another square? Does anybody want to see another square? I've lost my hook. Oh, I put it beside me. Okay. Regroup. Okay. Sammy said, "Do you block the granny squares before sewing them together?" I don't. I'm a rebel, Sammy, but if you want to block, you certainly can. I typically don't block them unless they're really messed up. Then I'll block them. But my theory is if they're that messed up that you have to block them, it's probably not a good thing. But my squares typically this is how they look when they're done. So they pretty much are flat now. So I don't really like worry about it too much. But definitely, if you want to block, certainly block. You don't have to be like me. That's the thing about crocheting. Everybody can do their own thing and make decisions for what works best for them. Okay, we're going to start with another square. Okay, so let's revisit the very center. This is what we're going to make right here. You can see I make these up ahead of time. Okay, I'm going to start with a magic ring. And into that magic ring, I'm going to do 16 double crochets. Mello, thank you so much for the heart me. Appreciate that. You do not have to do a magic ring, okay? If you prefer to do a chain for your center, you most certainly can, okay? Here we go. This is how I make my magic ring. There's lots of different ways to do this. This is not necessarily the way you have to do it. I draw up a loop, bring it down so that my loop is crisscrossed. I hold the crisscross in my fingers and I have my loop pointing out to the right. I'm going to do a standing double crochet in the magic ring. I wrap my yarn around twice. I go into the magic ring, working over the tail as well. Grab up a loop. Now I have 3 loops on my hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That is my magic ring. Okay. Now, very important, when you're working either a magic ring or the chain center, if you do that, be sure and work over your tail. So this is the loose tail. I'm going to tuck this around, okay? Just kind of go around. And as I'm working, I'm going to work over that ring and over this tail. We need a total of 16 double crochets. Now, this can get a little snug in here, but they will fit. So just work your way. If you've got to squish it around a little bit, that is totally fine. The first color of my square this morning is the Colorway Spa, and it's from Premier Yarns. It's an anti-pilling yarn. I had one skein of it chilling in my stash. And it was one of those things like, what am I going to do with this one skein of yarn? I'm going to put it in the center of these little granny squares and try to use it up. Okay. I won't use all of it up, but you get the point, right? The very center you don't have to have a whole lot. So find something you like and use that for your center. This is a great way to use up and do a stash buster. Okay. I'm doing different colors for each one. I can't believe you guys knocked out that gift goal. Thank you guys so much, everybody, for all of the gifts this morning. I really appreciate all of the support here. Y'all are amazing. All are amazing. 16 in the center, Carla. 16. So let's count here and see how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I have one too many. Pull one out. Okay, there is number 16. Okay, into the very first stitch here, I'm going to join with a slip stitch. But for your center, you need 16 double crochets. And again, slip stitch. I'm going to slip stitch one more time into this space right here. And then I'm going to snip off this color. Okay? Where'd I put my scissors? Oh, Lordy. I've lost my scissors. Okay, let's get a different pair of scissors. I'm losing everything this morning. These are kind of bigger scissors. Let me snip this off the live. Okay. So 16 on center. Now I'm going to pull my tail, close my magic ring. Okay, I know. I'm going to be disciplined, guys. I'm going to weave in this tail. So you can see I ended right here. I'm just going to weave this around. Now, friends, as you're weaving this around, you want to split the fibers, okay? What I mean by splitting the fibers is when you look at I know Leah just said, who even are you? I spend so much time after the fact weaving in the ends. I got to do something different. I got to try to be a good girl. I don't like weaving in ends, guys. And then I end up with piles and piles of these blankets for donation. I got to weave in all the tails. Um, Marcia asked a very good question. Do you know that many people in wheelchairs because you do a lot of wheelchair throws? Um, I do not, Marcia, not personally. And I am donating my blankets to Sabre Healthcare. It's part of Warm Up America. I haven't looked at their spreadsheet last, but the last time I counted, they needed over 1,000 blankets, wheelchair and veterans. Over 1,000, plus they need shawls. So I think I've made probably like over 20 blankets this year now. But yes, Jennifer, you can hear Diesel. He can hear me talking. He wants to come inside. It's probably getting towards the end of the live. He's ready for me to be done. Um, that's where I'm donating my blankets. I personally don't know them. When you weave in your ends, guys, um, I don't go under. Okay. What I try to do, if you look at a strand of yarn and break this apart, you can see it's comprised of multiple fibers. In this case, this is um, comprised of 4 strands. So as I'm weaving through under these stitches, what you're trying to do is split these fibers apart and put your needle in between there. Okay, that is what helps this to grip on and work its way around. And I go around like as many times as I can, as long as this tail is, until I feel like it's really good and secure. Yes, there's the rooster. Our rooster's name is Stud Muffin. He's out there roostering it up. Everybody's a little restless here this morning, I guess. Diesel's out there whining at the door. Our other dog, Mo, is sound asleep. He could care less about what mom is doing, or the rooster, or his brother. He's using this downtime as his snooze time because as soon as Diesel comes in, he starts, uh, jumping all over his brother. Okay, so that is how I weave in the end, guys. Um, Now we're going to start our next color. Now, as we're working the next round, normally you would work in the top of your stitches here. So you would go under the front and back loop, right? And you would work your stitches. We're actually going to work in between the stitches. So I split this apart and we go down in between. Mo is his nickname, Kelly. His full name is AMMO. So we have Diesel and Mo. We don't call him Mo. We call him his real name, but for the live, I call him his nickname. So we go down into this space, and I'm going to be working 2 together treble crochets. So this is the stitch we're going to be working. You can see I worked in between those 2 posts. Oh, the rooster. Yeah, the rooster's name is Stud Muffin. Yeah, we've got crazy names here. Okay, so we're going to be working this 2 together treble crochet. This is the yarn color that I'm using this morning for the next round. I love this yarn. We get this from Hobby Lobby, and the colorway is Herb Garden. Okay, so I'm using a skein I've already got going over here. Let me regroup here. I'm going to start with a slip knot on my hook. Let's see. Sammy said, "What kind of dogs? I'm new here and I'm a crazy crocheter, so I'm glad I found you." Welcome, Sammy. We're glad you found us too. So I have a pit bull mix and I have a Rottweiler. Our Rottweiler we got in December, and he's a puppy, but he's huge. And everybody, He used to come up on my lap when I was crocheting. So everybody kind of knows Diesel. He was the star of the show there for a while, but now he's big. When I'm crocheting, he hears me talking. There's nobody here. He thinks I'm talking to him. He wants to participate and he's big. He tries to jump in my lap. It's a whole thing. So anyhow, Diesel is outdoors. He gets his little busy bone and he has to go relax outside. Our other dog, he doesn't care. He just sleeps. He thinks of it as a nice restful morning time. So I'm going to go into this space and I'm going to do a standing treble. I wrap my yarn around twice so we have 3 loops on our hook. Now, very important, I hold my tail here in my fingers, okay? If you let go of this tail, these loops will spin off. I go down into this space. I put my hand forward. I transfer the job of holding this tail to Mr. Thumb. That way I can crochet. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I'm not going to finish this stitch. I'm just going to hold this. And the reason why is we're going to do a 2 together treble. Wrap our yarn around twice, go right back down into the space, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we have 3 loops on our hook. When you get to 3, this is where we're going to finish. Yarn over, pull through all 3, squish those together, chain 2, and now I'm going to repeat that, moving to the next space. So again, I'm not working in the top. I'm going to work here into the space, start another treble crochet, and we're going to do 2 together. So when you get to 2, you're going to stop, wrap our yarn around twice, right back down in, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Back to 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3, squish those up, chain 2. We're going to do a total of 18 groups of these. I'm pulling the wrong yarn. I'm wondering why. Y'all, does anybody notice anything about what I'm doing right now? I'm using the wrong yarn. Yo, who's paying attention to me? I'm not paying attention. I totally grabbed the wrong yarn. Okay, we got to start over. Frog that out. Did y'all see I made you a new frog? It's summertime. Well, we're coming up on June solstice, the end of the month, middle of the month, 21st, whenever that is. We've got a frog in a lounge chair with instead of a refreshing beverage, he's got a refreshing ball of yarn in his hands. So, yeah, new frog, and I messed up. So let's try this again. Standing treble, here we go. 3 loops, right back down in. Grab up a loop. Now we've got our 4 loops. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Again, do not finish. Start your next treble crochet. If you don't like doing the standing treble, you certainly do not have to. You could do a chain of 4 there, tie on and do a chain of 4. Whatever you like to do is completely fine. I just like to do the standing treble. I just think it looks really nice for that first stitch. Boy, Diesel is really upset today. I don't know what his deal is. He needs, I know what it is. He carried his stick inside this morning and it was like a 4-footer. We had a storm the other day, knocked down a bunch of branches out of the trees, and Diesel loves those sticks. So this morning, Mr. Wheeler was in the living room and he's like, what the, and he's got the big stick. He carried the stick outside. So I don't know if Diesel has any sticks in there anymore outside because he's carried them all inside. And when he carries them inside, they get, disposed of outside the other side. So they're no longer in his side yard. Dana K said, I do stacked singles. That totally works fine too. Absolutely fine. Danny Lee said, I don't even do the regular treble. It feels so unstable to me. I think when you put 2 together, it's kind of makes it more stable though. You know what I mean? Lori, this morning I am working on the um, English rose pattern. I created this a couple weeks ago. We worked on this on the live last week. We did it in a pink colorway, and now I am changing it and doing it in these like kind of frosty ocean. I call this the Glacier blanket. This colorway we're doing right now is, I love this cotton, and it is herb garden. So it changes colors. Some of it has more green. You can see there's more green there. Right now we're doing more of the green, but it'll transition back to the purple and whatnot. So the stitch I'm doing right now is a 2 together treble crochet. We'll talk about these stitches as I work my way around. We have to do a total of 16 of these groupings. If you want to watch me make this, you can watch this on the live last week, or we are live this morning on YouTube as well. And this video will be available on my channel under the live tab of my profile. So you'll see a bucket that says videos, shorts, and live. So make sure you look for the live tab if you're looking for any of our weekly replays. The name of the yarn is I Love This Yarn, and it is the colorway Herb Garden. I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby. Herb Gardens, that's what it looks like. You can see it's got the purples and pinks and blues and greens. The other color that I'll be changing to next is also I Love This Yarn, and this is the colorway Sea Blue. So, yes, Hillary, I crochet pretty fast when I'm not on the live. I try to slow down for the live. I made a bunch of these already this morning. Sammy, have a great day. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for following this morning. Really appreciate you being here. Hope to see you again tomorrow. My live schedule, for those that don't know, is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Time. Samantha said, I love these colors, but it's not screaming herb garden to me. I think for me, I can see where they were going with herb garden. And the reason why I can see that is if I think about basil and lavender. To me, lavender is kind of an herb, but basil specifically, like last year, I got some purple basil and I had my green basil, and it kind of the underside is like this pretty like lavender, some of it's dark purple. And so for me, if I think about my basil plants, then I can kind of see it. But, yeah, it's really pretty. I'm calling this blanket the Glacier blanket. That is what I'm calling it, because 'cause I'm mixing it with more of the sea blues and, stuff. So, Miffy, yes, I do save this stream. When I come live on TikTok, I am also live on YouTube, okay? My handle is Wheeler 8 Acres. There is a link on my link tree, or you can just put in Wheeler 8 Acres. All my social medias are the same. And you can rewatch any of the previous lives. You just have to make sure you go to the live tab. Go to the live tab on my YouTube, and you can rewatch these. Sage, yes, good point. I have sage growing in my garden as well, Dana. So for sure, sage is a beautiful, and mine did flower this year. I usually get out there and snip it off, but I kind of let it go because the flowers were so pretty. I still have sage dried from last year, so I wasn't feeling the pressure. So let's talk about these stitches, friends, as we head on here to the finish, okay? So I started in the middle with a magic ring. Again, you do not have to do a magic ring. You could also do a chain of 3 or chain of 4. Then I closed my magic ring. I wanted this to be kind of tight in the center. If you prefer to have a bigger hole there, you certainly could. Now what I'm doing is I'm actually working over my tail, you can see there, but I'm working in between the post, okay? So instead of going here on the top, like through these stitches, I'm actually working in between. I just spread these apart with my hook, and I work in between. And I'm doing 2 together treble crochets. I wrap my yarn around twice. I go into that space, grab up a loop. Now we have 4, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now I do not finish that last stitch. Okay, I'm going to start another treble. Wrap my yarn around twice, go down into that space, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Once I get to 3 stitches up on top, then I yarn over and I pull through all, squish those together. That is a 2 together treble crochet. We do this because it makes it a little skinnier up here at the top, and it kind of brings it back together so you can kind of like get that petal shape. The other way I've done these is you can actually do more of these, and we do the same concept with a double crochet sometimes as well. Um, then I'm going to chain 2, again, right into that space, wrap our yarn around twice, start our next treble, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and hold. Mama C, thank you so much for the sunshines, knocking out that goal. Appreciate that. Okay, here we go. Number 2. Again, right into that same space. Grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Once you're down to 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. Chain 2. We have one last stitch here, and we need our grouping of 2. So again, start our double crochet. Gen X asked if we could get to 160,000 before I end the live. We have what, 30 more minutes. I think it could be possible. Our record on the live, what is the record? 156.8 thousand. That is our record. 156.8. So I know y'all are tap 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 tap. For sure. I'll help. Here. Let me get my go gadget tapper. We'll have the moderator account help out. There we go. Go moderator. Uh Jennifer said we can beat it. Okay, I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the very first stitch. Very first stitch. Then I go ahead and I work into this space here. The reason I work into this space is I feel like this is an easier way to hide this knot that I'm going to make rather than in the at the edge here. So these scissors, I don't know where my good scissors went. I probably dropped them or something. Okay, so there we go. Here's another interesting thing as we're talking about tapping. When I was watching Lori this weekend, and we were trying to get to 1,000,000 taps, which we did on her live, Lori, the Knitting Sisters, who I love, love, love. Um, she mentioned on the live that it caps out at 4,000. If you have done 4,000 taps, she said what you have to do is you have to go out, leave the live, come back in, then resume your tapping. Then resume your tapping. I did not know that. I don't know if anybody else knew that. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's fact. I don't know if it's fiction. I don't know, but I thought that was interesting, right? Oh my gosh, I almost hit the wrong thing. I almost hit the one that's like, where's the one coin one? Oh, here we go. I'm resetting the gift goal. I almost hit the one that's 100. Lordy, that would have been a mess. Chrissy said, I did not know that. I didn't know that either. So anyhow, the yarn I just finished with that people were asking is I love this yarn. This is the Colorway Herb Garden. Okay. Now I'm going to be moving on to the next yarn. The next yarn is also, I love this yarn. This is the Colorway Sea Blue. I guess, Katina, if you leave and come back, Lori said it resets it. So then you can tap more. I did not know that. I don't know if it's true or not. Yes, Bunny, I always chain 2. When I chained 1 before when in my younger days I would chain 1, okay? So, let me give an example here. When I would chain 1 like this and tighten it up, I always felt like this was coming loose, and I could so easily get this stitch out that I changed it, and I actually chain 2 now, just to make this a little more secure because I feel like this isn't a very secure tie off. And I know that could just be me and my brain. when I'm making fancier blankets, I do not, I do not, I try not to do knots at all. But when I do granny squares, because there's so many color changes, I definitely knot it up. So anyhow, that's why I do two. Again, if you don't like that, Gen X just said, let's go for 200. Gen X, wow, setting the bar high, sister. That is a lot of taps. I mean, not that I'm doubting. I know you all are fabulous. Uh, that's pretty amazing. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start with the next colorway. We're going to start with a slip knot on my hook. And let's look at our example square. Boy, Diesel's really not happy this morning. He really wants inside here. I might have to stop the live early, but let's see if he'll settle back down. There must not be enough interesting bugs and everything outside. Okay, so we just finished the very center. This is a round shape right now. Our mission on this next round is we want to turn this from a circle into a square. So this is where the magic is going to happen. You can see here, this is the very corner of this square, one of them. There's four of these, obviously, four corners on a square. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do two trebles, chain two, and two trebles. That is the very corner. So the treble stitch is the tallest stitch I'm going to use for this round. As we work towards the center of this square, we're going to work with smaller stitches. So after the treble, then we're going to do three doubles. The double is a shorter stitch than the treble. Then in the very center here, we're going to do two half doubles. So that is the very shortest of the stitches. Then here on the edge, as we work back out, we're going to go from small to big. So we're going to go big, small, and then back out, three doubles, and then back to our corner. We're going to repeat that on all sides. Okay, so here is how I start this. Again, if you don't like to do a standing treble, you could do a chain of four here. You could do stacked singles, however you like to do that. We're going to wrap our yarn around twice, go down into that stitch, grab up a loop, yarn over, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two, and yarn over, pull through two. So that is a standing treble. Now I'm going to do a second treble crochet, chain two. This is the corner. So right back down in, we need two trebles. And that will be our corner for all of the sides. We'll have four of those. Okay. Now we're going to get shorter as we work our way towards the center here. So into the next space, I'm not working on the top of the stitches, right in between those petals. Oops, I almost messed up. We're going to do three double crochets. The double crochet stitch is a little bit shorter than the treble stitch. Okay. Now here in the very center, we're going to work two half doubles. And again, the half double is a smidge shorter than the treble and the double. So can you see how it's graduating? Totally getting smaller. Now we're going to work our way back out to the corner. So now we're going to get bigger. And to get bigger, we need three double crochets. Now in our corner stitch, we're going to resume with our trebles. So we need two trebles, chain two, and two trebles. Okay, so now we have finished one side of the square. Magically, we're going from circle shape to square shape. Now we're going to start working along this next side. So we're going to repeat that. Into the next space, we're going to get a little smaller. We're going to do three doubles. Bunny said, so neat. Love this. Thank you, Bunny. Thank you guys all so much for the taps. If you missed it, the Wheeler team, the amazing Wheeler team, is trying to get to 200 likes, 200,000 likes before the live ends. That is a big, big goal. So thank you everybody who is tapping your screen. I just messed up. Stop talking, April. Do your stitches. Summer of Love. Nikki, thank you so much for the Summer of Love. That was really cool. Catherine said, I've got to run. God bless you all. Thank you, Catherine, for being on the live this morning. Appreciate you hanging out with all of us as we're tip tapping away. Tap, 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 tap. My yarn holder is stuck. I'm trying to get it unwound here. Give me this yarn, Mr. Yarn Holder. What is happening with you? What is happening with you? I've got a rebel yarn holder here happening. Don't you hate that when the yarn it got like all wound on the post? I use the little magnetic yarn holder, the little pendulum. Queen 530 is in the house. 175,000. Wow, that is a new record, Jen. Y'all, that is a new record. Wow, that is amazing. Every day you guys you leave me speechless. I am just amazed. I love the support. Guys, while I'm working on this square, let me mention, I have not mentioned it this week. We are going to have our subscriber giveaway probably one of the first or 2 days of July. I haven't figured out the date. I have to look at the calendar. But the subscriber giveaway that we have for the month of June is repeat, 4 skeins of the squirrel cakes. Some of you are like, what is a squirrel cake? It's the cinnamon swirl cake, aka the squirrel cake. That is the subscriber giveaway for the month of June. So, just a little way to say thank you to all of the subscribers who support me here on the channel. I did a bunch of new stickers over the weekend. This is my yarn holder. I don't know if you guys can see it. I have the double yarn holder. So it has 2 pendulums. This is a squirrel cake I've got on one side. I'm working on this on another blanket. And this is what it looks like, of course, tipped upside down, but it's the same thing. There's links to these on my link tree. They're very popular. And so I've got my blue on one side. This works great if you're working granny squares. I have little skeins also going. So anyhow, that is Victoria. Have a great day. Thanks for being on the live this morning. But yeah, the pendulum little magnetic yarn holders are fabulous. Like I said, there's links on the link tree. We get those off of Amazon. I replaced my magnets to make it a little stronger, but you sometimes don't have to do that depending on how heavy your yarn is. And then sometimes I cake my yarn. So, like for example, I have this skein next to me. I caked this. Now I've been using it this morning, so it's a little frumpy. It's a little frumpy cake. But this one I did cake as well when I got towards the end. So typically what I do, I will use about half the skein. And then when it starts getting floppy in the middle, then I'll cake it. I'm not good about caking the whole skein. So that is kind of how I do my yarn caking. Sometimes I don't cake it at all. 190,000. Oh my gosh, you guys. Stop. This is incredible. I can't believe you. I this just blows my mind. I am amazed, you guys. Wow, so amazing. Um, you've left me speechless again. You know how you do this. Okay, in the corner, 2 treble crochets, chain 2 treble crochets. Now we're going to get smaller. Okay, so into the next space, we're going to do 3 double crochets. So the double crochet is smaller than the treble. In the very center, we're going to do 2 half doubles. 2 half doubles in the very center. Sorry, y'all, I didn't mean to bump you there. Okay, and then as we get bigger, as we head back out to the corner, we're going to do a little heart for a sweet teacher. Oh, thank you. That is amazing. That is amazing. You guys, wow, what a day. What a day. Setting that bar high. Where are we at now? Let's see. It's got to be getting close. 201,000. Oh my gosh. Y'all, that is incredible. That is amazing. Thank you guys all so much for all of the screen taps. 200,000 likes for me. That is a new record. Thank you, everybody who's taken the time to tap their screen this morning. I really appreciate it. That is really cool. It really helps with the popularity of the live, so then we get to meet new friends. We like to meet new friends. We have a fabulous group, and there's more wonderful crocheters and fiber artists out there. We need to meet them all. Marley, thank you so much for the follow. Speaking of new followers, I just saw Marley popping up there. So that is very cool. All right, let's snip off our yarn here. I joined with a slip stitch into the corner. And somebody asked me, in the past, I used to just do one slip stitch here. When I tied off, I personally have started doing two slip stitches. Now, I have to pull this down with my thumb, but this makes a very tight knot, and I feel like it's more secure than if I just do one slip stitch. Lisa is here and said, "Hello, new friends. Hello, Lisa. Welcome, welcome. We are so glad to have you here this morning and all of the new followers. I think there's a way I can look and see how many followers we've had. Let me see if I can see. New followers. It says this morning we've had 81 new followers. 81. Oh, there's 82. Oh, 83. Nikki just followed 84. Wow, it's going up. The counter's just spinning up. Penny said I just found you. Penny, welcome. We are so glad to have you. Y'all, it's not just about me here. Um, we have a fabulous group. But for those that are new followers, my name is April, and I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings. I do work full time. I'm a hobby crocheter, and I go from 7:30 Central to 9:30 in the morning. At that point, I hop off. I feed the dogs. I fill the bird feeders. I check on the deer cam and get myself some breakfast. You know, all the things, and then I go to work. So be sure and hop on. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to be working on a hexagon cardigan, not the standard granny stitch. I'm going to be doing the study of snow pattern. So tomorrow is going to be a fun day as well. Now, as I'm doing the very last row of this square, friends, it is just the standard old granny stitch. You all are familiar with this, where we do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. In between each of the clusters, we're just going to do our 3 double crochets. So this is kind of a nice relaxed row. I'm going to start with a standing double crochet. If you are new to a standing double, let me walk you through how to do this, okay? Nikki, thank you so much for the club power. Appreciate that. Queen 530, I don't know if I said good morning this morning, but glad you're here. Nice to see you. We start with a slip knot on our hook. Now, here's the thing. I secure my tail. I hold it between my thumb and my pointer finger. I wrap my yarn around once. Then I'm going to go down into my work. Now, here's the thing. If you let go of this tail, what happens is this loop will spin off. Did you see that? Gosh, that little loop. In trouble. So secure your tail, wrap your yarn around once, go into this space. I put my hand forward. Now I transfer the job of holding that tail to Mr. Thumb. If Mr. Thumb lets go, again, that stitch will spin off and we'll be back down to 1. And we need 2 on there. Now bring up a loop. Now we have 3, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. That is a standing double. Oh, thank you. I forget. It's like these squirrels come running by, Queen. You know how they are. They get me distracted. I can't remember who I've said good morning to and who I haven't said good morning to. I think I'm at that age where I can't remember what I did 5 seconds ago, let alone 5 minutes ago or 2 days ago. I don't remember what I crocheted this weekend, kind of thing, you know? So forgive me if I said hello and then I say hello again. Y'all, just think you're getting double the love. Okay, so 3 double crochets. Jen said, I have 9 minutes to finish this square. Okay, is that CS double crochet? CS. I don't know what CS double crochet is, Angela. Can somebody help me? What is a CS double crochet? I do a standing double crochet. Now into this same corner, we need 3 double crochets. If you don't like to do a standing double, you can start with a chain of 3. You can do with a stacked single, however you like to do that. Okay. Now I'm going to skip to the next space. So you'll remember on our square below or the row below, we did 2 trebles, chain 2 trebles. So into this space here, again, we're going to do our granny stitch. Okay, so in between the trebles and the doubles, we're going to do 3 double crochets. Queen, I'm using 4 different colors this morning. The very center of this square is the Colorway Spa. So the very center of the flower is Spa. The next round here is called Herb Garden, and it is I love this yarn. I love this yarn. Hobby Lobby Herb Garden. And there are links for this on the link tree. Friends, if you are a new follower, every day I go live, I update the link tree. You can find previous projects. You can find all of the details in the link tree. So you don't have to scramble and take notes at Dark 30 on the West Coast. If you're in Cali, stay in bed. Don't take notes. You can come back. Just give me a follow and you'll all have access to that later. The third round is Sea Blue. Also, I love this yarn from Hobby Lobby. Okay, I love this yarn. The very outer row, the color that I'm using right now is soft white, Red Heart Super Saver. It's one of my main staples. I'm not one of those gals that hates on Red Heart. I really like Red Heart. I do a lot of blankets for donation, and this one will be for donation as well. Okay, so let's see. Hershey said, "I love this. You're a great teacher. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm not a teacher by profession. I just try to explain it how it works in my brain. And I've come to realize we're coming up on my 1 year anniversary of TikTok going live, and that'll be July 5th will be my 1 year anniversary. And a lot of people have told me over the past year that they like how I explain things. So, people say it, and I just try to keep repeating that and explain how I do my stitches. So, in the corners, I do 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Bunny asked a great question. Do you chain one between your 3 double crochets? I do not. That doesn't mean that if you're used to doing a chain one, you definitely can do that. Chainless starting double crochet, Angela. I know it as a standing double. So my very first stitch here is a standing double crochet that I showed how to make. So I don't know. I don't know that I've ever done a chainless starting double crochet. It could be another term, in crochet there things are called different things that are kind of the same thing. So um, you know, it could be the same term. I'm not really sure. I'm not an expert. I am knowledgeable, but I'm definitely not an expert by any means. So there's lots of people who know lots more than I do. Okay, so to answer the question, do I chain? I do not. So I finished my 3. Now I'm going to go into this first space and I'm not going to chain. I'm immediately going to do 3 double crochets. Some people like to do a chain in between there when they're doing their granny squares. If you are used to that, I think that is totally fine. You would just have to, check out the spacing. I came up with this square a couple weeks ago. This is the English rose square. You can rewatch a video of this on my YouTube. My handle is Wheeler 8 Acres. Make sure you go on the live tab. Okay. So this morning we are live both on TikTok and on YouTube. When I'm done with the live today, you can go back and rewatch it from the beginning. So if you want to know how to make this square, you certainly can do that. Now, I'll probably try. This square has been rather popular, so I can't promise when I will do it because I do work full time, but I'm going to try to make a tutorial of this square. Show of hands, who would like to see a TikTok tutorial of the of this rose square? Who would like to see this? Is there interest in that? Would y'all want to know how to do this as an official tutorial? I would certainly try to do that. Penny said, I also do blankets for donation. That is amazing. Debbie, are you still here over on YouTube? Debbie, I saw your question earlier and a squirrel ran by and I didn't get a chance to answer. Are you over there still, hun, on YouTube watching? Let me know. I want to answer your question if you're still there. But the place that I am donating my blankets to this year is part of Warm Up America, and it's called Sabre Healthcare. And Sabre Healthcare is they have facilities all over the Carolinas, up into Pennsylvania. I think they have some in Ohio. At the last count, they had, and I haven't looked at the spreadsheet in a while, but they have a spreadsheet of all the different locations where you can send the blankets to. And the last time I counted, it was like 1,200 blankets that were needed, veterans blankets, wheelchair blankets. Also, if you want to make shawls, they are looking for shawls as well. But there are a number of places that you can donate your work. If you want to donate to charity, you could find a homeless shelter in your area, or even if there's like a nursing home or assisted living facility, sometimes they will accept donations. You would just need to consult them if you don't want to pay to ship it somewhere. If you're like me and you just want to put them in a box and send them off, there are links on the link tree to Warm Up America and Sabre Healthcare. So, resounding yes for the tutorial. Okay, guys, I will put that in my memory bank. Again, it's not going to be like I do this video tomorrow kind of thing. It'll probably have to wait till the weekend, and I will work on making a tutorial for this square. I think a lot of people are interested in it. So let me also try to answer some of these questions. There's been a lot of comments here. Miffy said, I went off to Hobby Lobby on Sunday and they were closed. Oh, isn't that a bummer? They definitely are closed on Sundays, them and Chick-fil-A. So there you go. There's my helpful 2 cents. Not that I'm a big Chick-fil-A person. Does it matter over or under? So, Lisa, I have been crocheting for 41 years. I actually turned 50 this year on June 19th. I'm going to be 50 years old. I learned from my mom and my grandma. Now, my mom is here on the chat. If you guys haven't put two and two together, Mama Wheeler is my mom. Say hello, Mom. Say hello to the friends. This is the gal who taught me to crochet. When I learned to crochet, there wasn't anything like YouTube or TikTok or internet or, there just wasn't any of that. And in fact, when I was growing up, we didn't even have a TV. It was by choice. My parents did not have a TV for us kids. We read a lot, we crocheted a lot, and so it was all passed down. And we didn't have real discussions about yarn over and yarn under. If we did, I did not pay very good attention because one of the things, if you're a seasoned crocheter and you watch me crochet, you will see that I do yarn unders on all of my stitches, and I do it consistently. So, it's one of those things. Um, it doesn't bother me, and I'm probably not going to change it. It's that old teach an old dog a new trick. Probably not going to happen. But if I was to explain it here, what we're talking about is a yarn. So when you're, let me get a stitch in here. Okay. So I wrap my yarn, I'm doing a yarn over. The yarn is coming over the top of my hook. Okay. Does everybody see that? I go through my work And technically, you're supposed to do a yarn over. Do you see how the yarn is coming over my work? Draw up a loop, again, yarn over. The yarn is on top of my hook, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two. Okay, so that is the official crochet stitch. The way that I do mine is I yarn over, I go in, and instead of yarning over, I pull through like this and I pull up a loop. If we dissect that and look at that and I flip it up, the yarn is underneath my hook. It's no longer on the top. It's coming from the bottom. And if you're a seasoned crocheter, some people will pick up on that. And I get asked that question a lot. So you can see here, if we look at my work, the first stitch right here, this is the yarn under. See how it twists different? The one in the middle is the yarn over. It spaces it out. See how it's spaced out here? It looks different. And then the one on the left is the yarn under. This is how I do my stitches. I do a yarn under on all of them. So this right here would bug me. I would have to take this out. I would make the argument that in crochet, it does not matter as long as you do it consistently. So, Lisa, for me, I'm not going to mix and match these stitches. That would really bug me. Um, but if I do a yarn over or a yarn under every single time, then I think it's cool. So I kind of have my own take on things. Consistency is very important. And so I am extremely, extremely consistent with my stitches, and I do them the same way every time. So let's see, guys, trying to catch up here. Um, 250 by the end of the live. Wow, that is amazing. We're at 246. I think you guys could do it. Hang on, let me turn on my Gadget tapper. Okay, I'm going to help tap. Here we go, tapping away. What size is the wheelchair blanket? The wheelchair blankets that I make are a 35 by 45. That is the size that I try to get them to. So, if you are just joining on, let me put some of this to the side. I'll show you the actual blanket that I am working on. Okay, we've made a number of squares today. Um, I also showed on the live this morning how to do the seamless join. Okay, so there is a video I released yesterday on my page on TikTok of how to do the join. So if you want to know how to do that, you can certainly check out that video. But I'm making a bunch of these squares. So let me set these to the side. And what I have figured out with Miss April here. April is me, for those that don't know. I like making granny squares, but I don't like making granny squares enough to be committed to make like 60 or 80 granny squares to make a whole blanket. Okay. So what I do is I make some granny squares, then I get bored, I put them to the side and they sit there and then nothing ever happens with them. Okay. And does this happen to anybody else? I have good intentions that go horribly, horribly wrong because I don't finish. I get bored with them, especially when it comes to the sewing it together point. So, what has been rattling around in my brain the last couple days, weeks, whatever, is what if instead of doing all the squares for an entire blanket, what if I do three squares in the middle? Okay, so I joined three. When I make my wheelchair blankets, they have to be rectangle. So I join three squares. Then what I've done is I came back with the modern granny stitch and I did that with the various colors. So now what my plan is, Nikki, thank you so much for the party poppers. I'm going to take these squares and I'm going to join them together like this. Okay, so I joined one set, and then I'm going to join them here to the edge of my blanket so that I have another round of these squares. Okay, can you envision what I'm talking about here? It's kind of hard to show on the live. After I join these all the way around the rectangle, then I'm going to come back and I'm going to add more of the modern granny stitch to finish the blanket. So this way, I only have to make 23 squares. Just a Gen X girl, have a great day. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for all the gifts today, Jen. I really appreciate that. And that way I don't have to make as many squares to finish that blanket. All right. So anyhow, sorry, I'm kind of behind on the questions. Sparky, hello, friend. Sparky, I just wanted to give you my condolences about your grandma. I'm really sorry for your loss. I hope you're hanging in okay. I love you, girl. I feel sad for you. I feel my heart hurts. I'm sorry to end on a sad note, but I just wanted you to have some love. So, Sparky, hang in there, all right? Do you go live on Hobie? I do not know what that is. I go live on TikTok and on YouTube. So that is my two channels that I go live on. Veronica, have a great day. Friends, tomorrow I'm going to be working on the hexagon cardigan. So we're going to do another day of the cardigan tomorrow. Thank you guys all so much. 259,000. We'll just call it 260,000 likes because by the time I'm done, y'all are going to be there. That is incredible. I will be back on tomorrow at 7:30 Central Time. I hope everybody has a fabulous day. Thank you all so much for being here and hanging out. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you to all the subscribers. Special shout out to our moderators. I could not do this without you. Y'all are amazing. Thank you, friends. Gotta go. Bye now.